Major funding for MasterChef USA is provided in part by...
Looking for something? We can help you explore all the delicious possibilities of the Internet. Looksmart.com, proud to sponsor quality cooking programs on PBS.
And...
Wine.com is proud to support quality PBS cooking shows like MasterChef USA. Our team of wine experts can recommend a wine to complement any MasterChef creation. Wine.com.
Welcome to MasterChef USA. I'm Gary Rhodes, and today you're about to watch the results of a year-long search. And it really has taken that long. We've held contests in cities across the whole of America to discover the men and women who demonstrate the finest in amateur cooking. To make this series of 13 programs, we've flown these talented men and women to our television studios here in New York City to compete for the honor of the great title, MasterChef of the USA. And what's their task? To cook a 3-course menu for 4 people in 2.5 hours. Quite a job. And after all this hard work, their final menus are being judged by myself and 2 very special guests. On today's show, we have contestants from the Northeast region of the United States, and they've already started cooking. And let me tell you, I can already smell the results. That's plenty of this introduction. Let's go to the red, yellow and blue kitchens and see how they're getting on. So it's jacket off, sleeves up, come with me. In the red kitchen, Lou Sherwood is here from New York City. Lou, how are you getting on?
I'm deep into dessert first.
Deep into dessert first. Well, before we get to the dessert, I'm going to tell you about his complete menu, because he's going to be cooking some broiled jumbo shrimp wrapped in prosciutto with arugula and balsamic syrup, for a starter, that is, and then followed by pasta pockets with mushroom duxelle and roasted cherry tomatoes as a main course, and for dessert, poached two-tone pears with chocolate sauce. Now, two-tone pears. You've got to tell me about these, Lou, because this looks so interesting. You've cooked some here. Is that in red wine you've put those?
That's right. These are done in a red wine. And, of course, these are done in a white wine so that when you put it together at the end, it's visually
But how are you
exciting.
going to actually hold those together?
See the cinnamon sticks?
Yes.
The cinnamon sticks are going to go right through the 2 pear halves.
Through, so you're going to have that lovely pear
put it together,
sitting there.
right.
Pushed together like that. Oh dear, that's
Hopefully
very good.
in that chocolate sauce.
Now I noticed you've got these lovely jumbo shrimps here.
Yes.
These look absolutely delicious.
Jumbo shrimp, they're swimming in white wine and olive oil right now.
This all sounds really quite delicious. I'm going to leave Lou to it and go and take a look in that yellow kitchen. Best of luck, Lou.
See you later.
And in the yellow kitchen and from New York City, we welcome Peter Fragale. Peter, good to see you.
Thank you.
This all looks and smells absolutely delicious. How are you getting on?
Pretty good. I'm making my pasta for my ravioli and my
wonderful.
artichoke sauce, which will accompany the ravioli.
Well, that's my cue to tell you about Peter's menu, because his first course is pan-seared broccoli rabe ravioli with artichoke heart sauce, happening there, and roasted red pepper. The main course is rolled breast of chicken with pancetta, eggplant and fontina cheese, served with a tomato and onion sweet vermouth sauce, brown whipped new potatoes with eggplant and garlic, and zucchini and carrots in a honey butter glaze. And his dessert is amaretto apple clafouti, one of my favourites. It all sounds very delicious, but there's one thing that really gets to me. It's about this artichoke sauce. You said that's what's happening in there, and you just used artichoke hearts.
That's correct.
Well, do you mind if I have a taste?
Sure, please.
Now, how did that come about, that sauce?
Actually, it's a funny story. My wife was cooking some artichoke hearts with some olive oil and garlic, and she basically overcooked it. And I then added basically what I would do to a stuffed artichoke, and I then processed it and used it as a sauce.
So basically, it was through a situation that this was created.
That's right.
It was being overcooked.
Doesn't it always come like that?
Quickly
Yes.
blitz it, pass it, and the sauce was made. Anyway, I'm going to leave you to it, Peter. I'm going to another kitchen. And last and certainly not least, in the blue kitchen, we have one more contestant from New York City, Dana Maxey. Dana, How are you? Nice to see you. And lots going on in here as well. What are you up to right now?
Getting ready for a twice-baked Gruyere souffle.
Wonderful. Well, now I should tell you all about this menu that Dana's putting together, because the first course is going to be a Gruyere souffle. Her main course is roasted duck with cherry sauce and whipped turnips, and the dessert is apple and calvados tarts with cranberry confit. Delicious. Now, I love the look of those cherries. Now, let me just... They do look delicious, and they're quite powerful, aren't they?
They might have a bit of brandy on them.
A bit of brandy, just a bit. Are you sure about that? Just a bit? And what else have you got going on over here? What's happening in there?
We've got some turnips and a bit of Yukon Gold potatoes cooking with those.
All right, so in fact what you're making is what of course I would do, and that's a lovely creamy mashed potato, but with the flavour of turnip happening behind it.
Absolutely.
But of course you know I'm a really big fan of mashed potatoes. I love them, and that turnip's going to be interesting. So anyway, I'm going to leave you to it. Now you've met all of our contestants, let's leave them to cook while I introduce you to our guest judges. Our first judge is Jacques Torres. After a distinguished career at some of New York's most prestigious restaurants, Jacques went on to host the PBS television series, including Dessert Circus, and has written 2 companion dessert cookbooks. Jacques is currently the Dean of Pastry Arts at the French Culinary Institute. He's also received numerous awards, including the James Beard Pastry Chef of the Year. Please welcome to MasterChef, Jacques Torres. Jacques,
hello,
lovely
Gary.
to have you here.
Thank you.
Jacques Soto is one of America's most exciting ballet dancers. In addition to an extensive repertoire, which includes leading roles in many of Georges Balanchine and Peter Martin's ballets, Jacques has co-written a cookbook called Our Meals. Please welcome our second judge on MasterChef today, Jacques Soto. Gentlemen, it's a real pleasure to have you both here.
Thank you.
And sitting, of course, with 2 gentlemen who both are very, very keen cooks, but with Jacques, you are probably the master of pastry in the whole of America. Do you think that's what you're going to be looking for today, the puddings?
You know, I love to do pastry, I love to eat pastry, but, you know, I like those main course too. I mean, I have no problem with that, so that I look forward for that.
I mean, what about yourself, Jock? I mean, you've written a cookery book. Do you actually cook an awful lot yourself?
Actually, lately I have been cooking quite a bit. I love to cook. I haven't really tried any pastries, but I'm hoping to learn from him.
From this man?
Yes.
Well, so am I. So am
Yes.
I can promise you. So I think we all have a relationship here. We're all looking, actually, for flavours. As with your dancing, it's things that are going to blend. Everything is going to happen. And, of course, I think we can all tell here. We can smell lots
pretty
of
good.
That's
flavours.
incredible.
So really, I don't know about you, but we can feel the tension in the air and the pressure is on. Let's go and see how they're getting on. Let's go, gentlemen. What's happening here now, Dana?
Well, just about to put the soufflés in the oven for the first time.
Oh, so it's a twice-cooked souffle.
Absolutely.
I like the way that she's using her fingers also. She's sort of not embarrassed
Yeah,
to
you
do
see,
that.
that makes me feel at home. I feel at
Yes.
home now because actually that's the way I cook all the time.
Yeah.
Now these I absolutely adore. Am I allowed?
Absolutely.
Are you sure?
Oh my. That would make a nice
I
vodka
think I
drink,
could get
don't you
used
think?
to eating these. I really do. Couldn't you, John?
Yes.
And what exactly are
is
you going to do
delicious.
with those?
I'm going to add those to my sauce that goes with my duck at the very end.
So what have you
Wow.
actually got happening here, Luke?
What I have here is the mushroom and onion mixture, which I'm going to puree a little bit later.
Of course, that's going in the pasta pockets.
It's actually going to be a sauce for the pasta pockets.
Right.
Here comes the good part. The wine with the pears.
There's so many flavours, isn't there, Jack?
Yes, I mean, a lot of things are going on here at the same time. Quite impressive.
Thank you. What we have is my rolled chicken breast, and what I just did was season it with a little salt and pepper, and now I'm going to include the rolled filling, which is pancetta, which I've seared in a frying pan, some fried eggplant, and my fontina cheese. So I'm about to roll that, and
So you're just
secure
gonna
it
be
with
rolling those up.
right with some toothpicks there.
Are you going to put them back in the oven after that?
Absolutely.
Yes. For how long are you going to finish them?
Probably about 10 or 15 minutes, just
Okay.
until they're putting a custard in, until that just gets set.
Okay, so then the custard is not, the custard is whipped cream, you say, and Calvados?
It's with creme fraiche,
Creme fraiche.
little sugar, little egg, and Calvados.
Great. Where the cranberry go?
It's
To the
just
dark?
it's just a sauce alongside the dessert of the apple
Okay.
confit with cranberry.
Great.
Now, this is one of the moments I've been waiting
Looks
for.
incredible. What did you marinate that in?
That's marinated in white wine, olive oil, and garlic. And this is a jumbo shrimp, which we're simply going to roll up like this. I'll eat about a half a piece.
Just like that.
Now that's
Well,
going to
so
go.
You've still got the lovely shrimp exposed. I wondered
Right.
whether you were going to totally cover that.
And
No,
that'll
just
be
a little bit.
That'll be broiled, or even
Yes, that's going to be broiled, and then
Wonderful.
what you do is you give it just a little bit of breadcrumbs on top, add for the texture, and then it's going to have a balsamic syrup. I'm going to reduce balsamic vinegar and sugar, so it's got a sweet counter taste to the prosciutto and the shrimp.
So you're really working on a balance of flavours here, aren't you? You've really
I
thought
hope
that
so.
out and making sure that they're all going to work together. Now, this was something else I was always very
That's
excited
my
about.
broccoli rabe ricotta filled ravioli, which I
Right.
just made.
And how are you going to finish those? Just by simply poaching them, or
I will poach it and then pan sear it in some olive oil and butter, and I will serve that with some artichoke heart sauce.
so, right. What about your main courses here? What's going on here?
Going to sear them on the stovetop and then pop them in the oven after I drain off the fat, however. If I can borrow your fork, I'll show you right now. I'm going to pour this down.
Let's have a look.
Is it okay in the sink over here?
Yes, go for
Okay.
it. Go for it. Let's see it.
I'm just going to pour that off.
Right. So you can tell by the amount of fat that's come off there that she's really cooked that down. That's
very crispy
absolutely
too.
wonderful. Dana, this is looking great.
And I'll just
Oh,
turn them
lovely.
right over and put them in the oven.
They look gorgeous.
What are we making here? This looks
This
really
is
fascinating.
Yes, this is whipped newt potatoes that I incorporated some pan-seared chopped eggplant and garlic, and now I'm going to brown that in the broiler.
Oh my gosh.
Really? So you're just going to actually, as that is, just like
Right.
that, and just colour it
Right.
off. And you use new potato.
New
there.
potatoes, outstanding flavor with the new potatoes.
Yeah, you got a nice, fresher, sweeter
Yes.
kind of flavour coming from that with the eggplants as well. And what's going on in here?
These are some cranberries that I sauteed up with a little orange juice, orange zest, and just sugar and water.
Wonderful.
And I'll use that with the dessert.
Sorry, but when we hear that sound, it's just 10 minutes to go in the cooking, so we'll leave our contestants alone so they can finish their final menu preparations. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you. Done.
That's it, the cooking time is up, and now the moment of truth, the tasting. We'll start with Lou's menu from the Red Kitchen. Lewis prepared broiled jumbo shrimp wrapped in prosciutto with arugula and balsamic syrup, pasta pockets with mushroom duxelle and roasted cherry tomatoes, and to finish, poached two-tone pears with chocolate sauce. What do we think, team?
Look pretty good.
All looking
Looks
very good. Shall we
fabulous.
start here? Normally I'm a gentleman, but I want to taste this. That flavour does work well. It's not too overpowering.
It's delicious.
Yes.
Let's go on to a main course. So let's bring that in over here, shall we? Now, this looks very good. A lot of thought gone into this. Let's get straight in. Let's taste this filling.
I'll use my spoon.
It's going to be good.
No, it's good.
Very
It's good.
Very,
A little
very
bit
good.
al dente. It's good.
Thumbs up again, Lou. Thumbs up again. And now, the dessert. Let's pull this in here. Oh, there we are. Well, let's just go straight in. Oh, I tell you what, shall I take that out? I think that's a wonderful little idea.
spoon
Beautiful
here.
presentation. And let's just, there
Very
we
nicely
are.
made, yes. Oh, the chocolate is not too strong. It's good.
No, it's good.
Yeah.
Well, you're right. It's not too strong, is it?
And the pears well cooked too.
Okay, so that's the first one. Let's move on.
Very good.
In the yellow kitchen, Peter prepared pan-fried broccoli rabe ravioli with artichoke hot sauce and roasted red pepper, rolled breast of chicken with pancetta, eggplant and fontina cheese served with a tomato and onion sweet vermouth sauce, browned whipped new potatoes with eggplant and garlic, and zucchini with carrots in a honey butter glaze. For dessert, it was the amaretto apple clafouti. Well, gentlemen, I think this time I want to dig straight in and right, of course, with this starter. You see, silence when we're all eating, that's about appreciation.
Flavor is good.
So there's the first
That's
one.
interesting.
Now, this wonderful main course. Now, I do like this rolled breast of chicken. A lot of work gone into that, and I'd like to see if we can have a little peek of how that's
Inside.
actually worked. Oh, look at that. That looks delicious, doesn't it?
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
It's wonderful.
That's good.
That's excellent, huh?
Also, the sweetness. The
sauce.
sweetness of that sauce working with that chicken. Great combination there. And, of course, as with every dessert, I think it's always a moment we're waiting for, isn't it? An apple clafouti. Quite a classic. Let's try that. Now, I didn't expect it to be quite as deep as this. You know, because when I
Also,
think
the
about a
apples are-
clafouti, I'm thinking of a little sous la plat dish, you know, a sort of classic little sous la
It is
plat.
true that the mold was quite unusual.
It was, yeah.
That's delicious.
Very good.
Well, there we are. There's number two.
Very
and
good.
now, let's go and try the final one. Dana in the blue kitchen whipped up a first course of Gruyere souffle, roasted duck with cherry sauce and whipped turnips as a main course, and apple calvados tarts with cranberry confit for dessert. Well, here we go. Look at this. I think it's very brave taking
Yes.
on souffles.
What do you think?
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts, John?
It's a lot thicker than I thought it would be.
You thought that was going to be a lighter texture than that?
Yeah.
Good cheese flavor.
It is.
Oh,
it
it's
is
very, very, very
tasty.
strong on as far as that's concerned, isn't it? But it is quite a close texture, whereas you'd expect it to be perhaps a little bit looser. Now, I think you're going to have to carve here
Okay,
for us.
I'm the
Jacques.
carver
If
for
you-
this time, huh?
You start carving
Okay.
and carve away, because here, of course, we've got the duck happening with the cherries.
With a
little
nice
You know, those
thick
cherries-
sauce.
Those cherries are really working with that. I like that bittersweet edge. Okay. And now, of course, the dessert, we're looking at the apple and calvados tart with the cranberry confit. So we've made sort of a cranberry syrup, haven't we? And then put sort of the poached. Now, come on, let me hear
That's delicious.
from the actual pudding
No,
expert.
that's very good.
Wonderful. Well, now it's over to the guest room with our contestants, where they're supposed to be relaxing while we get on with our judging. Gentlemen, let's get our marks together.
Let's go to work.
My biggest inspiration for cooking was moving to New York City. I really got to experience a lot of new foods and flavors, and really, I believe the best restaurants in the world, so anything I had at the restaurant, I come home and try to make myself.
I was inspired to cook by my unending hunger. I've always been hungry.
Tough competition, don't you think? Tough
Pretty
so.
close.
I think so.
Pretty
very,
close.
very close. But Jock, tell me about the first in the Red Kitchen from Lou's.
Well,
Menu.
I actually liked the balsamic syrup. I thought that was very, very good.
Well balanced, good flavor. That was excellent.
What about the actual pasta pockets then?
I
What do
find
you
that
think?
well done. Perhaps a little bit flat on taste.
But yeah, it was, as you've said, we had just a selection of flavours,
Yes.
but they didn't really quite all work together. And of course, now this was a great presentation. The
Beautiful
Yeah,
desserts.
very, very, very.
Beautiful
It was
desserts, yes.
beautiful, very pretty.
And what about your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm not a big dessert eater, but I thought it was beautiful.
So there we are. Well, difficult one straight away. So let's move on to the Yellow Kitchen.
Yellow
Now,
Kitchen, very interesting.
Peter
Yes, he was-
took on
he was
an
very
awful
busy.
lot of flavours. He was, wasn't he? That's a good way of putting it, because there was quite a lot of flavours there. What are your thoughts, Jock, on the actual broccoli?
I love broccoli rabe. I love the taste of it, and especially when it's alone and with a little garlic and olive oil. I wasn't too fond of the artichoke sauce too much because I didn't really get any taste out of that.
But did you have any thoughts on that, on the actual ravioli, the pan-fried?
I'm not crazy again about the pan-fry ravioli. I like them usually cooked in a broth.
Yeah.
And then we had the very, very brave main course, I thought.
Loved the potatoes.
Yeah.
I thought
That was a new
very good,
experience
yeah.
almost, trying those. But of course we had then the eggplant working inside the
Inside of
chicken.
it.
But that was well done, well put together.
It was good presentation.
I think he did well with chicken breast. Sometimes you get bored with chicken breast.
And of course, then we had the clafouti, amaretto apple clafouti. I was quite surprised by that.
I liked it.
Yeah, I did. I like that. I mean, I
think
love
we
clafouti.
all have a second, huh? I think
Absolutely,
was
we
good.
did.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on from yellow, and now we're into the blue kitchen. Dana was working here. But what about the actual souffle? What was your thoughts on that, Joe?
Well, like I said earlier, I thought it was going to be much fluffier. I thought it was a little thick. But
Did you
Dense
have
but
this-
flavorful.
Yeah.
Yes, that was a little bit dense, but I think that was very flavorful.
Now, the duck with cherry sauce and whipped turnips.
I really like the main course. That was well balanced, and you know what? That was a main course with a lot of character.
such a good winter dish. I thought it was delicious.
That was good. It just captured that sort of slightly bitterness on the outside from really cooking that
fat
the
down,
skin
yeah.
and the fat down. And then I think, which was the star of her actual menu, of Dana's menu, was the dessert.
The dessert was excellent.
Now, we've got to come to you for this one, Jacques. Of course, we've got to come to you for this.
That was
'cause
excellent. We have a good contrast between the dough and the dough was crunchy, the apple was pretty soft. The apples still have a little bite, but it was a little bit sweet. Then we have that little custard. I mean, that was good dessert. And the cranberry, the orange, I mean, that was good.
Worked very well.
Everything was working very well. In that dessert, that was like a symphony. Everything was working very well.
Well, we've
Tough
got
choice.
a lot to look at, a lot to talk about, and, well, let's go and start adding up.
Okay.
Well, with the cooking and judging over, it's time to thank our two guest judges, Jacques Torres and Jock Soto. And of course now, it's time to announce the winner of today's Northeast Regional competition. The winner today will go on to the semi-finals, moving one step closer to becoming the MasterChef of the USA. And now, the Northeast Regional MasterChef winner is Dana Maxey. So congratulations. So with congratulations for our winner, and of course commiserations for our very close runners-up, it's goodbye and see you next time.
The grand prize for the next MasterChef of the USA is a trip for two to the Cuisinart Resort and Spa on the island of Anguilla. Every contestant on MasterChef will receive a subscription to Bon Appetit magazine, a $100 gift certificate from Williams-Sonoma, and a basket of dairy products from Cabot Creamery of Vermont. To learn more about MasterChef or apply to be a contestant on our program, visit our website at the address on your screen or reach us by calling 1-800-683-9885. All recipes in this series are available in the companion cookbook, MasterChef USA. Call 1-800-752-4594 to order your copy or send a check or money order to the address on your screen. Major funding for MasterChef USA is provided in part by
Looking for something? We can help you explore all the delicious possibilities of the internet. Looksmart.com, proud to sponsor quality cooking programs on PBS.
and
Wine.com is proud to support quality PBS cooking shows like MasterChef USA. Our team of wine experts can recommend a wine to complement any MasterChef creation. Wine.com.
This is PBS.
Tune in next week to watch our MasterChef semi-finalists cook up a storm. Which one will continue on to the grand finale?